Education Minister Mutula Kilonzo did not mince his words in stating the government's planned action if teachers failed to heed to the return to work call.
The Teacher Service Commission, who has the function of employment, deployment, discipline of teachers, will be taking severe action against those who participate in strikes, including the blockage of salaries during the period that teachers don't work, including denial of the union dues that are due to the unions during the period that any teacher remains on strike.
A stern warning
Solidarity forever.
Given at a time when the teachers' union hailed the decision by their members to hold up to their promise following the expiry of the 7-day deadline they had issued the government to implement their demands, downing their tools and failing to resume duties with the reopening of schools Monday.
In fact, we don't even have much comments to make about the success of the strike. It has taken off very well in a manner that we wanted. Now they should maintain the tempo and maintain the pressure.
The teachers' union says it is angered by government for going back on the 1997 agreement, a deal they say was signed and even gazetted but is yet to be fully implemented 15 years later. Efforts by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to have them engage with the team before embarking on the planned strike, those union officials scuttled, remaining adamant that they will not hold talks with the team that was not at the negotiation table at the start of the talks with government. But Mutula Kilonzo maintains that such an argument holds no basis.
The days when Honorable Kamodo, my predecessor in this room, would sit with the teachers, give them false premises, and so on, are gone. And that's why I'm opening my statement by saying I appreciate that the teachers of Kenya have genuine grievances arising from falsehoods and misrepresentations made in the past. But they themselves have contributed to it because they entered into an agreement with the government, KUPPET, KNUT, Teacher Service Commission, and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. That is where the discussion ought to be, so that then the government can make a decision arising either from a deadlock or an agreement that they reach. As a matter of fact, I, as Minister for Education, cannot go to the cabinet and say, I demand that you pay teachers A, B, C, D. I can't, because we created an independent institution for making those recommendations.
Teachers are never given anything without fighting for it. We want to thank them and ask them to start steadily, because, as we said, we cannot and we shall not go back if our demands are not met.
The standoff, even as a section of members of parliament threw their weight behind the teachers, challenging the government to live up to its end of the bargain.
There is nothing that will actually change the situation the way it is unless our honorable government, especially the Ministry of Education, comes up with a solution immediately.
And this ministry, which is supposed to take care of labor, which has failed, called Ministry of Labor, the biggest failure in this country is the Ministry of Labor.
The current impasse between the teachers' union and the government is being aggravated further by a loophole in the constitutional implementation, with the union basing their negotiation argument on an old clause in the old constitution, specifically the labour laws, while the government maintains that the new constitution reigns supreme. Will the two come to a merger and end this educational crisis? That remains the big question. Evelyn Wambui, Citizen TV in Nairobi.